Strange Brew is about presenting an audience with a really good live music experience.
It's huge bands that are about to become huge that Strange Brew picks up before anyone else.
We've had 4 shows in 4 days now, but like that's something that the Roisin is really special.
It's just this kind of iconic place that people just kind of migrate into, you know?
This is the Strange Brew, Honey Buns. That's what happens.
Yes!
Strange Brew started, I think, around 2004. It's at the end of October. It was 666 nights old. I was looking for somewhere to put on, you know, a good indie alternative club night with some live music. And Doc, who owns the Warwick in Salt Hill, very kindly allowed me the use of his room out there. And the Warwick was just a beautiful place. It was amazing. It was a big part of my college life, of one of the most iconic Galway venues.
Warwick, yeah.
There you go. There, that just caps it 50 times. We were here when the Warwick was a team.
Yeah.
When the Roisin hadn't got the late license, and we had so you do a show in the Roisin and then you get into the Warwick after the nightclub. Back to the Roisin and you're like, no.
I remember because like we was playing great tunes and we were up on the dance floor dancing, and then he played one of our tunes and we were like, what do we do?
You thought we were like a band. We thought we were a band of James Murphys or something like that.
So I started running it there, mainly just as a club night first. I remember the first night there was 680 something people. I'm going to pretend I don't remember, but it was 686 I think.
The very first thing that I came across in Galway was absolutely the Rushing Dove. I couldn't believe there was as many great bands playing in Galway. And I went to the Roisin to see Fight Like Apes and The Galaxy supporting, which was my very first gig in the Roisin Dove, and that was a Strange Brew gig. And it was just insane because I was like, what the hell? Like, this is like something that's right beside me. I can totally experience it. And then once I started writing music myself, Strange Brew for me when I first started writing the stuff that I was doing was the holy grail. If I could get to the Strange Brew thing, that was all I wanted to do.
Around 2005, I think, we went late night in the Roisin, so we kind of put an end to. I stopped doing Strange Brew out in the Warwick because obviously it didn't make much sense, and this was our own place here, which I still miss. I still miss doing shows in the Warwick. It was very special.
We've been playing the Roisin Dubh for years, and like a lot of those gigs we would have done would have been Strange Brew gigs. And the first gig I think we done was a Strange Brew gig, and it's just an iconic place in Galway. You know what I mean? You if people ask you, oh, where's good to play around Ireland, you say Roisin Dubh in Galway, and it was like a list of like a couple of places where you gotta hit up. You know what I mean? So it's one of those places that's on the list, you know? Yeah.
A lot of the bands that we still deal with now kind of, I feel, grew up with Strange Brew. There were certainly established acts like the Redneck Manifesto, but then Jape, I suppose, did a lot of his shows here as well. A lot of those bands like Fight Like Apes and De Laurentiis and people like that would have done their first gig outside of Dublin at Strange Brew. And you see some of them who would start out as, you know, support and then go on to their headline gigs and then go on to paying shows, and some of them now, like Villagers, doing sellout shows for us in the Black Box. So it's great to see that.
For a band who's coming down with pretty much no profile, whatever, like it's for new bands, it's for bands to be discovered, and you pretty much have a captive audience when you get there to actually showcase yourself to a bunch of people who don't know who you are, and that's rare, if not impossible, to get in this country, to get that kind of platform, you know. So it's really important. Graduated after our own headliner, which is such a different feeling, such a different business, like almost, you know what I mean? Like it was all scary. The onus was on you, but like at the time when you do the Strange Brews, there is a kind of a, you don't feel the burden, you just feel, I'm here to do my job. And that's what a band needs when they're starting out. You know, they feel that you need to just go down and play music, and people will be there to listen to it. Whether you're good or bad, that's up to you.
It's good, we'll always have your back. You'll always be there to kind of talk you through and guide you through it, and you know, just work out a plan, which is kind of very important.
There was always a music scene in Galway, but there's never been, like, there wasn't that, like, these big international acts weren't coming in like such floods or such variety. And it's like he's bringing people in, like Father John Misty last year, and even last night Kimmy Dawson was playing. And you know, where else would you see them in Galway but, you know, the Roisin or at the Strange Brew? And bringing acts like that in and taking a hit, you know, the odd time, like, you know, if something doesn't pan out, it doesn't matter, because it's what matters is, you know, the quality of the entertainment that's been brought to Galway, and it's great.
It's not just a night. It's not just like a night out on the town. It's not just a night to get drunk on. It's a night where you're going to get educated on music that you haven't heard yet. And there's just been so many bands that I have heard playing in the Strange Brew that, like 6 months later or a year later, they're like headlining some huge festival in the UK or Ireland.
Just kind of the sheer randomness of it all. You can kind of get everything from, you know, electronica to some singer-songwriter to some 90s pavement style stuff to anything in between, you know. Just randomness and the brilliance of it as well. Just get a surprise really when you go into it.
You had bands like the Jimmy Cake and the Redneck Manifesto, Snow Patrol, just before they skyrocketed into the super megadom that they are now. But you know, in fairness, their first two albums were excellent. It was great to have that every week, you know, that people could come back consistently and see a certain standard of music.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Home is where I want to be. Pick me up and turn me round. I feel numb, born with a weak heart. I guess I must be having fun.
The first gig that we did was one that I remember the best. It was the first Villagers show outside of Dublin. We really enjoyed it, it was amazing. We sort of stayed up far too late dancing and got a bit crazy.
I think my first actual one was this one, the Cast of Cheers. It's one of the only few tickets I could find. But yeah, the Cast of Cheers at Strange Brew was amazing. Like,
when you're in Dublin and people go like, oh, you're from Galway, it's like a really good music town. What they mean is like fucking the Roisin Dubh is here, right? Roisin Dubh is here. That means that it brought these insanely huge bands before they were huge.
Say good night.
dance.
When we were going to plan our little Christmas tour, because we knew we were going to blaze it between Christmas Day and New Year's Eve, our show, it was just like, it was the first on the list, like it always is. You know, every tour we did, we had a club here, we had the Galaxmas as we call it this year here. Every major event in this band's life has been, one has been in Dublin, one has been always been in the
but yeah, it's great to see so many bands doing well now. You know, bands like The Galaxy and All Twins and So I Watch You From Afar. All of those, Jape, all of whom are, you know, Strange Brew. I'm not going to say graduates, but Strange Brew alumni certainly. So it's always nice to see them doing so well at festivals and going on, you know, going to see them play the big stage and going, do you remember when? I remember finding The Galaxy asleep outside the back door, you know, 10 years ago.
I think Googie's just got his, you know, his ear to the ground in Ireland, not just in Galway.
Kind of a friendliness kind of about the place. Like everybody who goes there, you can tell that people who go there love music.
I just remember just dancing, like they're the kind of like after the shows as well, you know, the club. It's my kind of club. You can just dance really stupidly, and like no one's watching.
The Roisin Dubh is definitely one we've seen just progress constantly. You know what I mean, and constantly get great bands in. And I think people really appreciate that they can go down to their local kind of gig space and see a deadly band. You know what I mean? It's fantastic to have someone like him in the music scene, because you can tell that he has a passion for music, and whatever kind of music it is, he just has a passion for music. So.
It's about, you know, introducing people to music that we love. Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice when you play a song, and I suppose especially if you're playing stuff by Irish bands and you see people dancing to it or asking what's the name of this. That's one of that's my favourite moment DJing. Is when people are dancing to songs they don't know. That's the best part of it, I think.
She's in the middle of two fallen lovers. Gets tossed around in the audience storm. Hiding out in the thoughts of others. Can keep your hands inside my head for so long. She's on.
The thing with the Roisin is that it's always been from the very, very start, that very first ever gig, it's just like you get so well looked after as a band.
That matters, you know.
And that really, you don't like. That was the first time anybody was ever kind of friendly and supportive to us. And
Especially
really
if you're on the road as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be playing in Galway if it wasn't for Strange Brew, and if it wasn't for Googie, I wouldn't be performing here at all, because I didn't have any inroads into Galway at all. So for me, it was super important to like perform for him. So that was one of the most important gigs of my life. Like that Googie walked in from the backstage and like saw me play.
You make a lot of friends, and I like that when people come in and they feel comfortable here and they know all the staff and, you know, they know the apartment. The most famous apartment in the rest of Ireland.
Get your music into Googie and get your music into the Roisin and get on the stage in Roisin Dubh, because it's one of the places in Ireland that, you know, you're guaranteed to come off the stage with a big smile on your face, whether there's 2 people there or whether there's 200 people there. It's just so much fun. Yeah, I love it.
Such a great atmosphere and family that was there, and ever since that's where we've been down.
Yeah, God,
49 times later.
We're blessed to have it in Galway. We're blessed to have it.
It's one of my favourite nights, and yeah, I mean, I just hope people love it as much as I do.